Welcome to Huddle for Success, real talk, real goals, and real results, where they help you make it happen in your life and business. Your hosts are Mark Bruce and Duane Gibbs, and they're here to help you level up your mindset, growth, and your success. Whether you're after personal growth or financial growth, they have you covered. Now let's huddle up.
Welcome to the first Huddle for Success, real talk, real goals, real results. I'm co-founder and your host, Duane Gibbs, and I am here with my partner, Mark Bruce. Mark, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you, Duane.
Good to see you. First episode. Man, I'm excited. I know you're excited. It's been a long time coming. We have really been hacking away at getting this first video out, but making sure everything else is in play so we can start educating people on how to change their life. I know that you have been a huge part in changing my life. About 2 years ago, I was really in a crossroads of changing career of 30 years and really needing to reinvent myself. What's that look like? I was stuck and came to you, and you showed me the light, and I'm very grateful for that.
Kind of you to say that. Very kind. Hey, you changed my life. You know, we met about 10 years ago, and you introduced me to the real estate note buying business, and I probably wouldn't have started that company had it not been for you. So,
well, I appreciate those kind words.
Yeah.
I think we've played a significant role in each other's life for what we had at the time, and I think we're going to be able to expand on that over the episodes. Speaking of that, we will be coming to social media every Monday, 9 o'clock. And then we also have planned our daily huddle, which is going to come out every Wednesday and Friday. That's probably going to start in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But every Monday morning, 9 a.m., Huddle for Success. It's going to be you and I. We're going to have special guests, people that we know in the industry, financial industry, whether it be IRA companies, attorneys that we've worked with, people that we've worked with in the past that have helped us get where we are today. We're going to talk a lot about our achievements. We're going to talk about our failures, of why we learned more from our failures than we did from our success. And I always say, you know what, I don't know a lot about everything, but I can tell you a million different ways of how not to do something. And that's who I'd want to learn from. I want to learn from somebody that's been in the trenches day in, day out, that has failed, but yet succeeded in a high level. And you and I have both done that.
Yeah. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times at building a light bulb. And 10,000 times.
Look what happened there.
I'm so glad he tried it 10,001.
Yes, absolutely. Man, because I tell you, when the power goes out here at the house, I'm like, where's the flashlight? I mean, what would we have to do if we had to live by candlelight and flashlight now? And hey, there are some people that do. Catastrophes, especially down in Texas, our heart goes out to those people. Me living here in North Carolina, Western Carolina, we've been through that, through Chimney Rock and Lake Lure, and all through the Western Carolinas. Heart, it goes out to those people on a daily basis because I'm living it. I can tell you where we would go weekly just to visit, and restaurants and places that we'd go camping and do things. It's destroyed. It's just totally destroyed, and can't imagine what those people are going through.
Yeah, that's terrible. And terrible. Our hearts do go out to them.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we, I've made several notes as well as you have, we've shared, and let's talk about why we created Huddle for Success.
Well, as a business owner, my wife and I started our first business when we were 26, and I will tell you, when you own your own company, it can seem like you are by yourself and you have to do everything. You have to know how to read a lease. You have to know how to do accounting. You have to know how to actually operate your business. So, I mean, there's so many things that you need to know, and there's nothing better than than a mastermind group to help put that together. And, I kind of see Huddle for our company, Huddle for Success, as a big, huge mastermind where we can help other entrepreneurs, executives, former athletes, kids, whoever. We can help be that mastermind group so you don't feel quite alone and isolated and all by yourself.
Yes. I mentioned about reinventing myself. I traveled the world, as you know, for 30 years, and I helped educate people not only in the real estate business, note business, but also in life in general. How to create a business for you that you're looking for something different. What's that look like for you? And, time and time again that, when I sat down one-on-one with people, and that's what you and I discussed. We talked about that we wanted to work with people one-on-one, and then develop that and have that obviously grow into a platform of where we're working with, multiple people at one time, because collaboration works. You and I both know. I mean, that's why I believe where I am at today. 2 years ago, I was stuck at a point in my life where I was really successful for 30 years. I've learned a lot. I've done a lot, successes, failures. And over that course of time, when I decided to move on from that, traveling every single weekend, almost living out of hotels and airplanes, and it was a lot. I mean, it was a lot, and I loved it. I loved working with the people, and now I'm really glad that I can bring my experience, that what I have learned and what you have learned, to the table to help people reinvent themselves. And it was important for me to really latch on to something, and you showed me something that I've heard a lot of different trainers and speakers, whether it be Tony Robbins or Dave Delgado back in the day, going way back. I mean, through the whole realm of 30 years, everywhere in between, Zig Ziglar and Pete Fortunato and just everybody. This has been the first thing that has sat me up in my seat and really take notice.
Wow.
What you presented to me, and I tell everybody, I tell all my friends, and they have said to me, man, what are you doing differently? What's going on? And I can tell you what's going differently is what you presented to me. And then we decided, let's collaborate and take our experience and dive into what we've learned, take our life experience, and then implement that into thinking in the results and create Huddle for Success. And I'm so glad we did. It's really set me forefront into getting to work every single morning, digging in, wanting to do better, and really just rejuvenated and excited about what we're doing. So, that's where I believe the turning point's going to be for people, is having a group. Like you said, you and I both played sports growing up. We're into sports. I watch sports all the time. I love sports. I love team. And, when I started, I came up with several different names. I came out with the dugout. I came up with the bullpen. I thought of the mound, and, something clicked one day. I think it was the end of last year's football game, thinking, man, they're huddling. It's the Super Bowl, and we're going to provide the Super Bowl for everybody each and every week. And so that's why I think we came up with Huddle for Success.
Yep.
And I love the format that we have in play.
Yeah, well, Huddle for Success it rung true to me too. I played basketball in high school because I was 6'7" when I was in 8th grade, and so
They thought you were the teacher.
Yeah, one of my best friends told me not too long ago. He's like, when I met you in 2nd grade, I thought you were the dumbest kid in the world because you were a foot taller than all of us. I figured you'd failed a dozen times, but
I have high school friends that say that now. He says, "What happened? You were the dumbest kid in school. What changed?" I said, "Independence changed."
Yep. Well, the huddle, it's where, our basketball teams, we'd huddle up before every foul shot. We'd huddle up at timeouts. And that's where, I had the great fortune of playing for Morgan Wooten at DeMatha High School, and we went undefeated my senior year. I'm going to brag a little bit. We were his only undefeated national championship team ever at DeMatha.
You go.
He had lots of national championship teams, and he had a bunch of undefeated teams. But anyway, first game not the first game, but the first season that I was playing for him, and we were in a huddle and we were down by 3 with not too long with like less than a minute to go. And he's like, "Okay, guys, we have them right where we want them."
I love the story.
So, and we went out and we ended up winning the game because he laid out the plan and we executed the plan like we'd practiced in practice every day. So, we're hoping that this huddle can help people in business and in their careers and in their life come up with the plan that will help you win the game that you want to play, achieve the dream that you want to achieve the goal, set a goal that's exciting and how to achieve it. So I've been lucky. I've grown up with coaches all my life. My dad was a coach, and I've always had a coach or a mastermind group. And we're just hoping to be the same for everybody else.
I tell you, with playing ball, again, always having a coach, somebody that I admired, somebody that I felt always knew more than I did. That's who I wanted to be around. I had several mentors, have paid a lot of money for education over the years. And I'm so grateful and thankful for everybody that I've worked with, because I've learned something from everybody. At some point, in my life, managed a lot of people in sales, and I would hope that they would look back and say that about me. Hey, they learned something, but yet I also learned from all my guys and girls that I worked with. They educated me in how to be a better person and how to, collaboration is so king. It's very empowering and also very powerful to be in a group of people that know more than you, that have experienced more than you, and that have been more successful. Because if you're around people like that, you aspire to do better.
Yes.
And so I know that's what we're going to bring to our group, and I'm just so looking forward to it. Let's talk about our book.
Okay.
We created a book that was, very, very easy to read, 90 some pages. And we felt, what, let's dial it back a little bit. And I think it ended up at 76 pages, as a free giveaway. So we wanted to be able to, out of the box, give something to our audience, people that, wanted a free gift, but yet had interest in what we do, had interest in our message, had interest in change, had interest in collaboration and working with a group of people that could help mentor them one-on-one in creating real results. And so that's what we're about. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about, some of the chapters and kind of our vision of why we really wanted to put that out there.
Right. Well, the cool thing about our book is none of the material is exclusively ours. It's all it's a conglomeration of the mentors that you've had and I've had that have taught us lessons. And, one of my favorite chapters in the book, we talk about goal setting and how to set a goal, how to set a big, exciting goal, and then break it down into smaller little chunks so that you can achieve it and you keep motivated and you don't get overwhelmed and the fear and the procrastination doesn't get to you. We talk about procrastination. We talk about mindset and how your attitude can be the most important thing to whether you achieve your goal or not. And the cool thing about your attitude is there's only one person that can determine what your attitude is. And that's you.
That's you. That's right.
So, we've got it's a fairly easy read. It's pretty quick. You can get through it probably in an hour. And It's got some of the best stuff that you and I have ever learned from our mentors in it. And
Uh,
hopefully we've organized it in a way that makes sense to somebody.
hey, listen, it's a free book, and you will definitely get something from it. You'll be able to pull a nugget or two out of it when you go to read it. I've pushed it out to several friends um, that have inspired me through life, several mentors, friends that are physicians, friends that are in sports today. They've read it and they've loved it. Business owners, and they said, they were really, my one buddy I gave it to, he's a business owner, and he says, I got to tell you, I signed up for the daggone gym. I've been saying that I needed to lose weight and I needed to change something in my life. And I've been fighting it. He says, I read the book. He said that daggone afternoon, I went out and signed up for the gym. I talked to him yesterday. He's got a personal trainer. He's going to the gym 3 days a week. And that's what it's about. It's not, you know, Huddle for Success is a transformation of life.
That's very cool.
And so it's just not at the end of the day, hey, how can I make more money? But how can I change my life?
Yep.
How can I make it more impactful? I'm off in my marriage. I'm off in spirituality. I'm off in finance. How do I set that? How can I collaborate and put this together? And once everything aligns, then the results are, you're definitely in the winner's seat.
Yep. So, we're hoping that you all join our Huddle for Success, because for every person that joins the huddle brings new life experiences, and we all learn from each other in the huddle. So where do we get this book, Duane? Where can people get the book?
Well, I can tell you, for starters, they can go to www.huddleforsuccess.com, and they just click in the link, put their information in, and then they will get it instantaneously. So it's a flip book. And then if you go to the bottom of the page, you'll see a little arrow with a line under. You'll see an arrow with a line underneath. If you click that, that is a downloadable PDF file. So you can download it, print it out, and have it so you can highlight, make notes in it if you want. And it's our way of just really giving. There's other things in there that we have in the website that is great informational tools for people to learn, to go and listen, that you have that we've put in there. But I think the book by far is definitely an eye opener, and it's worth your time to go to www.huddleforsuccess.com, download the book, and get that. So.
Yep.
What else do we have? Let's talk about our commitment. What's our commitment to people, not only weekly, but moving forward? If somebody says, hey, you know what? I want to be a part of your mentoring program. I want to work with you guys on a one-on-one basis, and then collaborate into a group, because we also have that. We also offer our own collaboration group that they're going to be able to be involved with. They're going to be able to start out and work with us one-on-one, and help define what it is that they want to overcome. So let's talk about our commitment to everyone that joins up.
Well, our commitment is we want to serve you and help you develop the skills you need to have to become the best leader that you can possibly be. The leader of yourself, the leader of your family, the leader of your business, of your department at work. It all comes down to leadership. You need to be able to be a leader that knows that. Bob Proctor, one of my mentors who I probably should credit for most of this information, because I'd read Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, back before I started my first company in the 80s. But I only read it once. And I met Bob Proctor in 2020, and he had been studying that same book since 1961. That was pretty,
Incredible.
that was pretty much my whole lifetime. So it's like, man, he's been reading that book. And when he'd hold up his book and man, it was a tattered old book. He had a rubber band
It
around.
looked like an old Bible. The first time I saw it, reminded me of a Baptist preacher that
Oh,
had this book and held it up with a rubber band around it. And I wonder how many rubber bands he's put around that book.
I don't know, but he taught me things that were in that book that it's like, oh yeah, I did that back then. I didn't even realize I had done it. And
Yeah.
he reorganized it with his partner Sandy Gallagher, and they reorganized it into a program that you've mentioned, Thinking into Results, that teaches the principles of Think and Grow Rich and the science of getting rich, and it puts them in a very organized way that we can work with you and walk you through the same principles so that you put together and learn and implement the lessons that made the most successful people in the 1920s and 1910s, made them as successful as they are. I don't know how much you know about the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich book, but he was interviewing. He was broke. He was interviewing Andrew Carnegie, who was the wealthiest man in the world at the time, and Carnegie put a stopwatch on him under the desk and gave him basically 60 seconds to decide whether he would spend the next 20 years of his life without any compensation interviewing the 500 most successful people of the time and put it together and organize it into a system that could teach everybody from high school kids on up. And what we want to do at Huddle for Success is teach that same information to people because it should be taught in schools and it's not. It's how to make a decision, how to be a leader, how to use your mind to achieve anything that you want to achieve. And it's based on the people that Napoleon Hill interviewed were, the Wright brothers and Thomas Edison, and I mean, just some of the most amazing people in our history.
Absolutely. You
That
know, I love being able to have that be the core of what we're teaching, but yet being able to evolve what we have of 70 years of experience between you and I and bring it to. I think that
Yep.
it blows it all up to a magnitude of, man, if you can't get something out of 70 years plus 60 years of, 140 years, 130 years of collaboration and mindful changes and what it takes to really be the top of your game and succeed and propel in life. I mean, I don't know what else there is. Um, I've said it before, I'll say it again. We're real guys in the business, educating people that we've done for a long time. We will hiccup in our conversation. We're not AI. We're able to collaborate with you, and I laugh because, well, you and I know AI is just it's the
It's
thing of
coming.
the future.
It's here.
It's here. You and I talked about, we saw something, an interview the other day about what Elon Musk said of how scary this really is going to be in the next 3 years. So they were talking about film editors and producers of creating a movie and how they're going to be able to get into, if they were able to get into a room and think about, okay, we want to do this movie and it looks like this and it looks like that, but really not sure what all it looks like, and feeding that into AI, they are going to be able to, AI is instantaneously going to be able to pop out a whole screenplay, a whole movie production, and it be better than what these teams, talking about Spielberg and all these top creators have ever thought of in their life. And I mean, that just is so mind blowing to me, kind of like the cell phone. I
Yes.
mean, who ever thought the cell phone we could do with what we do right now? I know as at 58 years of age, when I was, 16, if somebody ever told me, hey, you're going to have a cell phone, I'm like,
A what?
cell phone? That, what is that?
Yeah.
And Bob made a great point. Bob made a great point, and this sticks with me. The cell phone has been around forever. The computer has been around forever. The drone has been around forever, but it took a thoughtful mind to create that.
Yes. The ability to create it has always been here.
It's always been here.
It's just,
it's people collaborating. It's people thinking. It's processes. It's able to put things together to make a product now, which we know is the cell phone. So it's always been here. It took trial and error and collaboration to really make it happen.
yep. Yep. You say that brings back one of my first jobs out of college was at Motorola selling walkie-talkies back when they were the form of communication. And Motorola, I worked for Motorola, and they developed the first.
That's when they had the two-way radio way back then. And now everybody had to have a two-way radio. It was like a walkie-talkie as a kid.
Yep. And man,
Loved
when
it.
they introduced that brick cell phone that was the size of a brick, it was like, oh, wow. And the battery would last you could talk on it for 30 minutes before you had to recharge the battery. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm
that's
telling
awesome.
my age. Sorry about that. But
Yeah.
we want to share with our huddle. We want to pass on to people what Bob and our other mentors have passed on to us. We would not be where we are without the mentors and the coaches and the teachers that we've had over our lifetime. And, we've been very blessed and very successful with AI. Things are going to start to change so rapidly that I think everybody's going to have to readjust and reinvent themselves, or at least get used to a world that would have been unimaginable 5 years ago. So hopefully we can help people on their journey, and we can be here to brainstorm together, be a mastermind group, be a help, be a service to people.
I know that with creating our business, from websites to everything that we have done thus far in the past 6-8 months, and we've worked. I mean, we have really worked at building this, and constantly evolving. You and I spend tons of time together in making this be. We're real guys. I mean, we're not gurus. We're real guys that have a lot of experience. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. I may not know a million different ways of how to. I may not know everything, but I can tell you a million different ways of how not to do something. And so that just comes from success and learning things that didn't work in the past. And so with not being gurus, but yet real guys in the business of looking to help people, I know we can. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you giving me the motivation and bringing this to my life. It's really changed it in a big way over 2 years. And I'm excited to implement everything that I've learned and that I have success on and help others. So that is my final closing. And so I will turn it over to you, and you can close us out.
Hey, just wherever you are in your journey in life, just remember it's never too late to renew yourself, to rejuvenate, to get refocused, and to run your next play, because that's what we do in the huddle. So that in mind, we hope to see you here again next week in the huddle.
See you next week.
See you next week, Duane.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Huddle for Success. If you found it helpful and want to support others on their journey, share this podcast, leave us a rating, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you next week on Huddle for Success. Stay huddled up.